Hi guys, this will be May Garden Tour 2025. I've really been wanting to wait to do a garden tour and show you guys around when everything is in pristine and in perfect condition, all the flowers are blooming. But I think we've all realized that that's not really what garden is about because everything has its own time. So if I was going to wait any longer, I would definitely miss out on what's already been blooming. So I thought I would just go ahead and start and do hopefully a monthly um, garden tour, and then that way we can see what's blooming every time. So we've got some planes in the sky. You can see it amidst the clouds. That's what the loud sound is. So we're gonna start. If you look at the garden, I'm looking at the garden on my porch. And we're gonna start on the left-hand side of the garden, this garden here. And it's been like this for about a month now. And you can see the calla lilies are in full bloom right now. Beautiful. I've got so many different varieties of calla lily, and I'm actually loving this purple color. I unfortunately do not have the specific variety name. Most of my plants, buy them at Home Depot in a big pots, and they just tell you they're either calla lilies but don't have the specific name, and you can look at the colors. But this one is a beautiful royal purple color. Look at this one. It's like a flower within a flower. I think this is the only one that looks like that. Everybody else is just a single flower. And then I must have propagated it from one spot to the next, because I have this next spot right here, but it's only got like probably 1 or 2 bulbs in there. And then I actually redid this area. And planted a couple other things. I had a chrysanthemum right at the edge right here, and it was struggling, so I dug it up and moved it somewhere else. And that's one good thing about the garden. You can look around and just walk your garden, and whatever doesn't look like it's happy, just move it. Whether it's sitting in too much water, that spot may be too moist for it, or if it's not getting enough sun. It's actually, this is a full sun. Most of my garden is full sun unless it's under a tree. So most of the things here are pretty hardy toward the sun. I planted a coleus right here. This one was grown from a cutting, and it's really pretty. Please ignore the grass in the garden. Normally I would weed eat it, but I'm not going to have time this week before we go on vacation. Got a couple of coneflower here that is not as mature as some other ones that I have, but you can see the flowers are pushing out. So when I come back, I do expect all the coneflowers to be in full bloom. This rose here is a cutting from the Cathedral Bell. Such a pretty rose, such a beautiful, more of a light pink rose in the garden. Floribunda. I'll show you the mother one. She's so pretty. And then just a couple other things around here. Abutilon right here. This is the Chinese lantern abutilon. I planted one here and one there. And honestly, I planted it closer to where I was sitting because they attract hummingbirds, and I wanted to bring in more hummingbirds to the front porch so I can view them. But this is what they look like, a little bit Chinese lantern. They are a flowering maple called abutilon. But if you look at the flower, they're also known as a Chinese lantern flower. And then I got the double knockout roses, which kind of flank the edge. I think for the purpose of this flower, I'm going to swing on the inside of all the flower bed, and then we'll go on the outside after that. I have a bird bath over here that is in dire need of cleaning. We've had so much rain, and then after mowing, it kind of dirty up, so I got to reclean that. Sedum growing from cuttings. 2 different kinds of sedum. As you know, this is the ball-shaped mounded Autumn Joy sedum. I love Autumn Joy sedum. She is beautiful when she is in bloom. And even when she's not, if you look at the whole garden, I have 4 big monstrous balls. One here, one there, and one there. Of just a big clump of, it almost looked like a bouquet, green bouquet in the garden. So they provide that kind of structure before they flower. And then as they get a little bit more age and the heat comes, they will start to flower. And the flower is really pretty soft, little dainty flowers that bloom into a big head that looks like a bouquet. And then eventually the flower will turn color. It's such a beautiful show. I would definitely recommend sedum in your garden if you don't have one, and they are pollinator attractors. I do have a different variety of sedum, and this one is more of a low mounting habit. I'm not sure the name of this one, but this one is more dainty as opposed to this one. If you can look right here, this is like one floret, and look at how big that is compared to this floret right there. These ones are more smaller. Structure is more compact, so if you have less space, this one would be a good one as opposed to the Autumn Joy sedum. And then the other sedum up here is more of a ground cover. I can't remember that variety. And then this is another Abutilon, just the red variety. I can't remember the name of this one, and I usually go in and I deadhead when the flowers are spent, just so it doesn't go to seed and waste all that energy. That way I keep getting more buds and more flowers in the garden. This is a salvia, can't remember the name. It's supposed to overwinter. It's more of a perennial, but I had some of them died and some of them survived. This is one of them that survived, and it gets to about 4 feet tall. So that one is a really more of a tall structure, compact for a salvia. This is a hardy hibiscus, but it has a roughly edge around dinner plate size. It is grown from a cutting, and I do apologize. Again, I do not know the actual variety name, but it is a hardy hibiscus, so it comes back up every year. It dies back from the ground, and that huge stick right there is how big the actual stem gets when it is at full maturity. And then once it dies back, the stem remains, so you have to cut it, but I use it as a stake so I remember where the plant is. And then I also use that for when new growth pushes up. They are very fragile, and the dogs like to run through the garden and they break it. So I use that stick to hold it in place. I have a rose, a Julia Child rose. Her first flush of bloom has already finished. These are just remnants of the first bloom, and you can see she's pushing out new growth for a second flush. I come in and I deadhead. The Julia Child, I realize you don't have to deadhead. She will push new growth, and basically she will outgrow the old stem. So if you look from here, this was one where there was the first flush of bloom and I deadhead. And then from then they'll send out new shoots and then overtake where the old area is, and then provide us with new growth, and new growth comes new flower. So you don't have to deadhead if you don't want to, or if you don't have time. I do when I walk through the garden. I just come in and I deadhead my roses just to give them more energy to push new growth and new flowers. These are ornamental cabbage that a friend got for me. The nursery that she purchased them from, she actually got them for free because they said that it was too leggy and it was past its prime, so they kind of gave it to her for free. And nothing is better than free plants. So she got some for me, and I just plopped them in the ground. I'm kind of surprised they're still alive. We've got 90 hot and humid weather down here in the south, and they still look cool, so I left them in the ground. Eventually I'll probably move them out when I need new places. Planted a small cutting of a Abutilon here. This one is the pink. I'm going to just pop this so you can see it. but see, it's pink. So eventually it'll pop out and push, but this one is like probably 6 inches from the ground, but I decided it's gonna get better care in the ground than me having to water it. That's one good thing about once plants get rooted. If I put it in the ground, then I don't have to water it as much as if they were in a pot. We've got coneflower over here. They're still kind of babyish from last year coming this year, but they've got new growth here. It's not as hardy as the ones that's been in the ground for a couple of years. Another sedum ball. This is a butterfly bush, more compact. I believe this is the purple one. Can't remember the name, but I do have Miss Molly, which is probably my favorite of the butterfly bush. I did try to plant some allium right there. They didn't do too well. They kind of pushed out a little bit. It wasn't anything to note or take pictures of. But first year in the ground, I didn't expect too much because the bulbs were pretty small. So I'm thinking by next year it should root in, give me some really pretty flower, and then the structure hopefully will stay. Got some more coneflower. Again, like I said, I'm sorry, ignore the grass in between. I've got a coleus planted in the ground here. Coleus are amazing plant. They are a great filler, and this one eventually I'm hoping it will basically get a big, huge mounding mass of color right here. I put coleus in different spots where you can see that there's an empty spot, so that way they grow and kind of smother out the grass, so I don't have to do too much weed eating into the flower bed. This is Japanese magnolia, really pretty. I believe this is either Jane or Anne magnolia. I get those two confused all the time. I was trying to train this one into a standard, but you can see they're more of a bush habit, so they push new growth, and you have to always trim it back if you want it to be trained into a standard. Back behind the floppy hydrangea is my beautiful Midnight Marvel hydrangea, and we had a massive storm, and you can see it push some of the branches down. I left the one that didn't break off in hope that it could eventually kind of prop itself up. You can see it's doing great where it's kind of like leaning toward the sky now as opposed to all the way down into the ground. Look at this one here. See how it's kind of looking upward? So I'm going to leave her there and hope that she will bloom. I prefer that she's not as floppy as she is right now. I think it's because the ground has settled and the root ball is a little bit higher up than I would like for it to be. So when it rained a lot, I think it popped quite a few of the branches. You can see they're leaning over. But honestly, she wants full sun. And over here, it's kind of getting big in the thickest of things. And full sun is not really available. This is my 4-in-1 cherry tree that I purchased from fastgrowingtree.com. She is finally looking healthy, and there was actually a couple flowers, but still it dropped off. It did not set, so no cherries this year. But we're moving all of the fruit trees, hopefully either by this fall time, or we'll have to wait till next year when we get the excavator. I think the root ball's pretty much settling in, and they're pretty massive. So we're hoping with the excavator we can come in and get them out. There is another different kind of salvia in there. That one I like because it's more of a structured habit. Do not know the specific variety of it, but that one's pretty. And then behind it, of course, is that hedge of double knockout roses. And then over here, we've got coneflower down here. We've got this beautiful rose. This is the Double Delight, both in fragrance and in flower. They are beautiful. This is probably my all-time favorite rose. This is probably its second flush. All the roses flushed out, I want to say beginning of April, because our garden zone is so hot and humid. They already pushed out and they're on their second flush, whereas most of you I know in the colder region is just getting new growth now. Miss Molly butterfly bush from cutting. Look at my allium. So I'm not sure the variety of alliums that I have. This is the one I got some bulbs from friends. They don't know the variety because it's been in their ground for so long. But it is really tall. And some of them is pretty upright, you can see, but some of them are pretty wonky. I'll show you the one I mean by wonky. Even this one over here, it kind of wants to like curve out, grow up, go sideways. I have some that loop around itself. I'm not sure why it's doing that as opposed to just growing straight up like most of the allium you see. Let me know if you have that problem and if you can identify the variety of this allium. But they grow to almost 5 feet tall. But they're not like super ginormic. The super ginormic, sorry, I can't even say that word. But the head is not as big as I would like. I want like the huge big one that you see in some of people's garden. This here is Miranda Lambert. I'm not sure what happened, but this one right here, this stem is almost 5 feet tall. And then everybody else is like down below. So I don't know where it's getting its burst of energy or nutrients from, but it's really taking off. Miranda Lambert gets really tall, so you have to keep her in check. But she's so pretty when she blooms. She's already bloomed. You can see I deadheaded a couple and she's getting new blooms. I got a Chinese fringe tree right there from Etsy. It's growing great. It looks like there's an issue with one of the branches here. You can see where it didn't really push new growth out and it's dying back. But I'm just going to keep monitoring it and see how well it does. This is an older variety of phlox. It gets mold, mildew on it really badly when it's really hot and humid. But the flower is so pretty. I love it. So I keep it and I actually try to propagate a couple more from cutting, which I was successful in doing that. Planted them somewhere else. Plop in another little sedum cutting that I took. This here is Granny Smith apple tree. She's getting big and luscious. I had originally started exfoliating it, but then I was like, no, that just takes too much time and effort, so we let it do its thing. It needs to be pruned back before we move it, but it is fully loaded with apples. I actually just cut down this branch right here because I just put in my Eden Climber. This is the second Eden Climber that I purchased. This is actually the pink version that I really wanted. I have the white version as well that I purchased that I thought was pink. It turned out to be the white Eden. This one is actually the pink Eden. So I'm looking forward to training it on this trellis that I did a video, but it isn't completed. But basically, we're going to create an archway over here where we can hang a hammock. So we can sit and enjoy. It'll be a dual purpose. It'll have a hammock, and then we're looking at maybe getting one of those porch swing that we can put in from above, and then you can sit on the swing and just look out into the garden. Another sedum. I do have a peony here that did not bloom. I'm still debating about peonies. I say it penny. They take forever to bloom, and when they bloom, they're beautiful, but I feel like they're sporadic. They sometimes give you just one bloom, sometimes they give you 2 bloom, but never like a full show and a continuous bloom. So I'm not sure if it will stay or not. This is the chrysanthemum that I transplanted from the front area. I'm hoping over here it's not as moist as the other area where it seems to be suffering. So it seems to be doing good over here. That over there, the floppy flower, is yarrow. And I did a video where I took out 3 bunches of yarrow. This is one of the bunches. Sorry, I have a gimbal for the camera and sometimes randomly it like just want to shift. I'm not sure why. But that is a yarrow that is there. It wants full sun and it doesn't want to be bothered. It doesn't want a lot of fertilizer. It is okay with crummy soil, so in this bed it's not good for it. I think that's why it flopped. So that concludes that first bed over there. We're moving on to the second bed over here. I got a double knockout rose. Here is another wonky allium, but this one's not even as bad because at least it's pointing upward. Butterfly bush. This is a red delicious apple. I'm not sure what's wrong with it. I mean, if you see the Granny Smith, she is like fully pushed out in the heat of summer. Branches, leaves. This one over here, for some reason, barely has any leaves. Has so many flowers on it, and then fruits everywhere. But there's really no leaf to sustain it, so I'm not sure what's going on with it. And then I've got flanking the front just some coleus, coneflower. Try to plant in another hardy hibiscus over here. This is the area where I took out some of the seed, the yarrow, but left a little bit of space so I can fill in maybe 1 or 2 more plants over here. We got the limelight hydrangea there and a fly on my hand. Another hardy hibiscus right there. I've got some gladiolus bulb in the ground. I did not realize I had planted some so close to this apple tree. I thought this apple tree was actually going to die because this was the one that bent all the way over, and I thought it was not going to survive. So I planted the bulbs, I think, over here, thinking that eventually I'd just pull up this tree, but you can see it's doing fine. So I'm going to leave everything the way it is until we transplant all of the fruit tree. I don't think I have to go on the other side. I'm actually showing you the flower. So that's another area of yarrow back there. This is my Honeycrisp apple tree. It, for some reason, only gave me 3 flowers. Where are you? It only gave me 3 flowers. Sorry, I'm walking through my garden. I love to walk in my garden. 3 flowers, and I got 3 apples from those 3 flowers out of the whole entire tree. Those are the only fruit I'm going to get from it. So I came on the back side of this little flower bed. Now we're back here. I have a sedum down here, a couple other things transplanted. This is another chrysanthemum. Got some calla lilies. Love this color. It's like an orangey yellowish color, really pretty. And in the front, this is another salvia. There are so many different varieties of salvia and so many different colors. Like, even though I have 3 different blue salvias, or purple, I don't know the color. Some people call it blue, some people say it's purple. It looks more blue to me. But I have 3 different varieties of salvia, and they're all different. Growing habits is different. This one by far is my favorite. It's more compact. It only gets to about 12 inches, and it stays in a mounting form. So I think that's really pretty for a border edge. It doesn't get too big. And then you've got the calla lilies. I planted a hardy geranium that I purchased from the Dutch bulb or something like that. I can't remember, one of the nursery sites. Got this is a Texas sage that I brought from Texas, where my sister and mother lives. It survived. I actually divided 3 other ones from this one, and it didn't look like they're gonna survive. So at least this one, I'm hoping that it will survive. Baby's breath here from the Dutch bulb garden. I can't remember the name now. Something Dutch. If you know, please say something for other people who may be asking. Coneflower, cutting for the salvia. More calla lily. That hot mess right there is bee balm. It's about 4 feet tall, and you can see the spread. It keeps growing and filling in. Eventually I'm going to have to come in and kind of thin it out, but it is pushing buds. Every single one of them has a bud, so I'm looking forward to getting like a whole shoal. These are like the red hot lipstick color, so that'll be pretty when they come into bloom. I'm looking forward to that. Behind it is a Japanese magnolia that's getting smothered by this, so when I come in I need to thin it out and make sure I give that room to grow into a tree form. I've got, oh look, there is a friend. Hello, Mr. Lizard. Lizards are good. They eat hopefully all the bad insects, but they eat the good and the bad. I don't know if they know the difference between it. This is my canna lily that I got from one of the housewives of Alabama. I can't remember what it's called now. A friend that now we actually hang out and meet up and do things. So it's always fun to meet people of similar interest. But this was one of the swaps that I got. Someone had canna lilies and I didn't have this variety in this color, and it's so pretty. The texture creates an amazing interest in the garden because everything I have is green, and then there's only a few things that I have that have these color. This one, the canna lily, and the midnight hardy hibiscus is the only color that gives this variegated into the garden. Got some ornamental cabbage back there. I think this is a viburnum from cutting here. And then a poorly looking, some kind of apple tree. I can't remember what that one is. But that one is really sad looking. Okay, so we're coming back out now. Got some more yarrow. This is another area where I thinned out the yarrow. This coneflower is growing new buds, so that's nice. New buds, and it's flowering, so that's really pretty. I've got some coleus over here, chrysanthemum here, and then another Miss Molly from cutting right there. These are two peach trees that you can see is getting monstrous and taking over, but they won't be there for too much longer. We're moving them once either this fall or next spring comes in. This rose is from a cutting. I can't believe how big it's gotten, but look at the beautiful color. I love red, as you can tell. But it's got new buds coming out. This is its second flush. First flush already came. You can see I already deadhead. And then we're getting new growth and new flowers. So that's really pretty. This is a hardy hibiscus. I love this hardy hibiscus. It's a pink variety, dinner plate size. Love that. Over there, I have some azalea that I brought from the old house, and then more allium, Japanese maple, a plum tree, more allium. Here's an allium that is all wonky. Can you see that? So that allium is like, I don't know, it's doing its own thing. Look at all the crisscross and the wonkiness of the allium. This one's starting to flush out and open up. See, they're still, most of them are still in their little capsules. But this one broke its capsule. But the stem is really hardy. But I don't know why some of them are so wonky. And then other is just like a straight up, I don't know. So that would be interesting to know if it's something with the ground or the soil, why it's all wonky. This rose is a cutting. It's like a miniature yellow rose. It's not doing it for me. I thought maybe it would get better, but it hasn't. It never fully opened up, and maybe this area is too moist. It never fully opens up, and it always looks sickly, and you can see why. I mean, it just, I don't know. The bulbs are dying back, so something in the ground. It either doesn't like its spot, so I think I'm just going to pull it up. And I think I will have to get rid of it. It's not pretty. It's not attractive. So anything in the garden you don't like, feel free to pull it up. It's your garden. Penny here. Purchased them from a Walmart bag. I don't know the variety. It did give me two beautiful blooms. And then that's it. Now it's just foliage. Looks like it's kind of starting to get some kind of mildew on its leaves. I just feel like it's, I know people love pennies, but for me, it's not doing it. Now that it's done, it's just kind of there, and I want more. Gladiola is planted in there. I've got some camellia, two different kind of camellia over here. Miranda Lambert rose. This is the one that I'm not sure if it will make it, but that's the Texas sage right there. Hasn't pushed out anything, so I'm gonna give it a little bit more while it gets really hot. Maybe it'll push out. My two beautiful pomegranate. This one is giving lots of buds. You can see it's pushing out buds here. There was a flower in there somewhere, and the wind actually knocked it almost sideways, so we had to stake it up and put it up a little bit. The other one seems to be doing good. And then I got an arborvitae in here. Let's see what kind. I actually have this here. It's a emerald green arborvitae called Small Rod. Is that how you say it? Small Rod? Rogd? It is hardiness down to -20. I do believe it's only going to get to about 12 to 15, so it'll fill out the space nicely in here. It is one of the many few that I have that is an evergreen. Everything else in here is basically perennial. They'll die back, lose its leaves. So the garden looks completely dead in the winter time. So this year was the first year I bought, I think, 3 or 4 evergreen, putting in here just for structure. Miss Molly butterfly bush. This is the only surviving, gosh, I can't even remember the name of it now. It's a butterfly attractor. Why can I not remember the name? If you remember the name, please tell me. It's literally at the tip of my tongue and I just cannot remember. It's the tubular, orange looking flowers. Oh, I even did a cutting of the video just to root some more, and I cannot remember for the life of me the name of it. It'll come back to me and I'll come back. I've got chrysanthemum, burning bush right there. This is some kind of lily. I cannot remember the name of it, but it's so beautiful when it blooms. The only thing is I don't really like the structure, the leaf structure. It's like all over the place. I'm not sure. I'm not sure about it. I have it in the ground now just because I love the fillers. Oh, look. You can see the flower it's pushing. There's one there and one coming out. It's really pretty when it blooms, and I'll have to show you that. But the leaf structure is not doing anything for me. I got a limelight standard right there in a multi-trunk, and then behind that is another Japanese magnolia. Camellia right there. Allium here. There's a whole bunch of allium. I actually need to come in and thin it out. I didn't realize it was such a massive amount of alliums over there. Flanked by gladiolas. And it's a little bit more shady than I like. Back behind it is more peach trees, 2 of them, and then one right here. Miss Butterfly bush that I trained into a standard form. She's looking great. You can see new growth from the base. You have to go in and always remove them. Remove those new growth if you want the standard look. Otherwise it gets really bushy and then it looks like a bush. Butterfly bushes is more of a bush habit. That's why it's a butterfly bush. But if you want to train into a standard form, you got to always go in and work on it. I've got coleus in the ground. You can see little by little. Eventually it will grow. The grass is of course growing faster than it, but I got to come in and weed eat. But there's some more allium, Japanese maple, Rio Samba. First flush already happened. Second flush is about to come out. In the front part, I've got some verbena, and then butterfly bush, just more of the compact. Miranda Lambert. I'm actually really looking forward to seeing the gladiolas come out. I hope that they will actually flower for me this year. Japanese magnolia behind that. And then I believe that is a nectarine. And then right next to it over here is the grapefruit. It is really thorny. I did not realize that grapefruit is thorny, and that bush there is extremely thorny. Midnight Marvel, look at the leaf structure. I think that's so pretty. it has its own uniqueness when it brings it into the garden. Right down there is a limelight, pushing growth but no flower. This is another standard multi-trunk. It was floppy with the rain, so we had to kind of tie it up. Once it gets a little bit stronger, I can untie it. And that there is Penelope. She likes to come and lay actually in my flower garden. And if you notice, if the flower is not very well established, she and her body, along with all the other dogs, will just lay and smother and smush every plant. So you gotta love your dogs, but sometimes they do frustrate me when they just randomly plop down in the garden. They have 24 acres to sleep and lay, and they want to be right where I'm at, in the garden, laying in the plants. I hide a hydrangea over there. It's getting shade, a little bit of sun, but those are mop head hydrangeas. They don't like full sun, so that's why it's in between the hardy hibiscus and this standard butterfly bush. And she's got one flower for me because the winter killed most of the buds. Another salvia, more upright structure, but you can see this one's about 3 feet tall. And then I've got some allium, some evergreen. This here is a cutting of a clematis. And to be honest with you, we don't know the variety. It came from a very well established bush. But I don't have any flower on it from last year to this year. So I think with the older variety, they grow in old wood. I was hoping for some flowers this year to know what it looks like, but nothing as of yet. So I might give it one more year, and if there's no flower, it's gonna be gone. It's going. And this is the archway that we made, and I think this might be the last year or maybe one more year, and then I think it's gonna need to be replaced. This is the white Eden that was so beautiful in the garden when it flushed, but you can see I've got issues with black spot, and it literally stripped it bare. Second flush, I came in and I deadhead everything, and so we're waiting for second flush to push out. You can see new growth coming out just like it's coming out of winter state. I've been trying to go in and discarding all of the leaves that have the moldy spots on it, but I think there's more that comes. There's too much mildew, black spot that comes, and I can't get to it. But I'm hoping new growth will come, give us another flush, and maybe one more flush before it lulls back down, because it's still decently cool. So it's already growing and over. I had to deadhead every single one of those buds just to push out some new growth. So that'll be interesting to see if I'll get another flush. Flanking this side, I've got gladiolas, Midnight Marvel, hardy hibiscus, double double knockout roses, angel trumpet over here that's trying to grow, pushing from the ground. I've got a grapevine that we don't have a trellis for yet, so it's kind of just wherever I need it to go. Salvia, more coleus that we planted, waiting for it to grow up. Gladiolas. I want to say this is the little lamb. Pretty much all I have is limelight. That's what I was propagating, but I do have little lamb, and I want to say vanilla strawberry or strawberry sundae, one of those. Lots of allium. These are alliums. And then I have a different variety of canna lily over there. It's flowering. Can you see that? This is an ornamental plum. The fruit isn't edible, but look at the leaf structure. It's so pretty. And then I've got a mophead hydrangea that's flowering in a pot. This one was actually in the greenhouse, which is why it actually has flowers, because the frost did not kill the buds while it was in the greenhouse, and you can see it's pushing flowers. So I might have to do that with a couple other ones just to get the flower. Otherwise, you get sporadic 1 or 2 flower, and that's it for the hydrangea. And then you're basically growing leaves. Got new cutting. Some of the cuttings that I took last year for the hardy hibiscus survived, so I put 4 or 5 into the ground and just waiting for it to mature. Over here, just got coleus, star Japanese magnolia, Oh, here's the really wonky one. And another one. So allium, really wonky. Look at the head structure. It's just like bending all over the place. Like this one here. Look at this one. It's like, and then it's got like a pointy nose. And my husband's like, are you growing corn in the garden? I'm like, no, that's not corn, but it does kind of have the structure of a corn. Like it keeps growing up, you know, those sleeves. But it is an allium. And then I've got some evergreen over here. Not sure what those are. Those are cuttings. And then just coming back on this side of this garden, I did lose a Japanese magnolia. I'm not sure what happened. It might have gotten too wet and then it just succumbed to root rot. So I planted a new one right here. This one, let's see if there's a name on it. It's a Jane magnolia. So we'll see how well it does. This is a butterfly bush, but it's a yellow variety, and I can't decide on it. It's really floppy, and I think the area is too moist for it. That's why it's really floppy. But I've never had a good growth on it to really like it. But it's a yellow variety of a butterfly bush, and I haven't seen too many of those in the garden. You get the purple and the pink, but not the yellow. So that's why I want to keep her, because she's unique when she's bloomed, but a yellow butterfly bush. This is a Vitex, really pretty. It's purplish. Allium, canna lily, and then that's I think a maple, just like a regular southern maple that I dug from the ground somewhere. All right, so coming back on this side again. We're switching gears to this little flower bed. This little flower bed, the center stage is the Japanese maple. Everything else I have allium, but majority of it is, oh gosh, now I can't even remember this plant. It's not a stilby. It's gonna come to me. Okay. We're going to bypass this one too. I do have allium in here and an angel's trumpet over here. More sedum. Sedum here. I think these are from cutting. Why can I not remember this name? It's literally right on the tip of my tongue too. And they attract hummingbird moths. It's not a stilby. Cleome, thank you very much. Okay, these are cleomes, and you can see they are readily self-seeding themselves everywhere. So this patch right here, I did transplant some, but for the most part, this little garden right here is dedicated to mainly the cleome. So she's really pretty. I like her. Over here, I have another Vitex. It's overtaking. I have 2 pennies. They each gave me a flower, and that's about it. Japanese maple. This is a fig. Not sure the variety, as it is from a cutting or a tree that my neighbor got, and she no longer wanted it, but I don't remember the variety. She's a very prolific fig giver, and you can see there's new figs on all of the branches. The dogs love the figs, so they come over and they annihilate them when they really are ready to be ripened and eaten. Another mophead hydrangea that was in the greenhouse. So you can see the ones that are in the greenhouse, the buds don't get frostbitten and fall off, so that's why they flower. I have more calla lilies. I love calla lilies. I love them more than I do the canna lilies. I feel like the structure is more formal, and I think that's why I like them more. This variety, I'm not sure what color they are, so I can't wait until they push through the ground. I just randomly put in a dill because I love the smell, and when they flower, they're so pretty. I think everybody should have some dill in the garden. The caterpillars love them. They'll go to town on them, which is fine. Then they can leave all my veggies alone. I think this is the vanilla strawberry or strawberry sundae hydrangea. And then I have that row of sedum right there. That is a new cutting last year that I transplanted into the ground, so hopefully it will take and do well. Another strawberry sundae, hydrangea, double knockout. Got some, sorry, the video is getting a little bit long, so I'm just kind of going through it really quickly. Coneflowers over here. Another Abutilon. This is the yellow one. She's really pretty. She's more of a small compact, but very prolific bloomer. You can see every single branch has like a whole bunch of flowers on them. But she is kind of a small in nature structure, so I'm hoping she'll get bigger since she's in the ground now, but she's really pretty. Bee balm, shorter than the one on the other side. This one is the purple variety. I can't remember the name. Angel trumpet. This is another peach tree. Japanese maple, coneflower. Here's the bee balm. This one only gets to be about, I say a foot tall, but this is like the purple variety. You can see all the flower heads that is coming out. I can't wait until it blooms. We're going on vacation. I'm hoping when we come back that they're still like in full bloom. So it's kind of good that it's right there. Look at this sedum. I mean, the sedum is crazy. They get massive, probably what, 24 by 24, I would say. So 2 feet high and 2 feet wide. Coneflower. These coneflowers are monstrous. Now this one's been in the ground for a couple years, so they're a little bit more established. You can tell the difference between the more established, you can see here, as opposed to the ones that are like 1 year old. They're not quite as established. And then I've got my angel trumpet back there that's growing. It's looking healthy. More coneflower, calla lilies, coneflower, bee balm, coneflower, chrysanthemum, butterfly bush, and I've got some indigo that's from seedling, another Japanese flowering maple, and then my 2 blueberry bush, which if they ripen when I'm gone, the dogs will be all over that. So I'm not sure if there'll be anything that will survive. And this is another pomegranate. This one hasn't flowered either. And pomegranates have thorns as well. So just an FYI if you don't have any. But the fruit is so good. I love it. I think that concludes my garden video. Everything, I mean, I'm like in between the stages right now. Oh, nope. What am I doing? I'm forgetting the center stage. Ta-da! Center stage right here. This garden flower bed is my rose garden bed. Center stage tree. This is the tulip, black tulip magnolia. It is beautiful when it is in bloom. It only gave me 1 flower last year because all the other flower got frostbitten and fell off and did not open up. So we only had 1 flower for this spring, and next year I'm hoping for a better, I guess better flowering, better luck with it. I hope that everything stays on so I can show you what it should really look like. It is now probably at least 10-12 feet tall. It can get up to 30 feet tall. So we'll see if it will get that big. And then starting over here, these are my 2 Double Delight roses. The only thing I really spent money on was the Double Delight rose. Everything else I only purchased 1 plant and then I try to propagate. But the Double Delight is the only flower, only rose that I purchased 3 of because I love it that much. And I have a harder time rooting them, so I went out and actually bought 3 plants of the same variety. This one, I cannot remember the name. I had it in one of the other videos of the roses, and now I cannot remember the name. But you can see why I'm not too keen on white flowers. They look dirty when they age, and they're just not pretty. I say that, and then I come over here to this calla lily, and she's beautiful white. I would love to get one. If you've ever seen pictures of those big, beautiful white calla lilies from Europe. I want one of those. This one is not that size. This one is barely even a foot tall, and it has one flower. So I think the bulbs are pretty small, or I either damage a lot of them, because this is just a random bulb here. So I don't remember planting just a random bulb. So either they all rotted and this is the only one that survived, or I just planted one, which wouldn't make any sense. But sometimes I surprise myself with what grows, because I forget when you do bulbs, if you don't put markers down, you forget what's there, and then you either try to dig it up and realize you damage some kind of plant that's already there. So beware when you're gardening to know and label. But I am a lazy gardener. I don't label and all that. So another cleome I planted over here just to give some flower. What I've realized in the garden is you don't want to plant too many of one variety of plants, because once they're done pushing flower, that's it. If you don't have something else there, it won't give you any more interest. So I've got Miranda Lambert, I got sedum in here, salvia in here, cathedral bell. Oh man, you guys, you see some of those pictures and videos I posted of cathedral bell? She was beautiful. She still is beautiful. But she is done with her first flush. You can see I came in and deadhead just the tip of it. And then I'm waiting for another flush to come out before summer gets too hot and humid and they lull and they don't really do anything. I've got a hydrangea. I think this is a limelight hydrangea. Another rose. I don't remember its name, but the fragrance is amazing. And then just some cone flowers over here just to give interest when the rose lull. Robinia. And here is another sedum, allium that I purchased, Walmart package. It's only like probably a foot tall. Sedum, coneflower, another Julia Child rose. And when I say I go in and I deadhead, like this one, if it's a spent flower, I just go in and I snap it off. And then I put the petals to the floor so that way it feeds the ground. And you could see new flesh pushing out, new bulbs and flowers. So first flush is gone already. Coneflower, butterfly bush, more compact one, and then we're back to the two beautiful Double Delight rose. Now that will conclude my tour of the garden. And if you're wondering what's wrong with the grass, we just cut it down and realized that the ground was so uneven that it was cutting too low in some spots. So we came in and tried to put sand down and try to level it a little bit. So this was just freshly mowed, freshly treated. We aerated it and then we watered it in. But you can see from before photos of some other video that I have, the grass is amazing. It's growing in. It's looking luscious from when we did the control burn. That was, I think, was in January or February. I can't remember. But since then, the grass has grown in very nicely. And I should have taken the picture before I did this video, because right now it looks a little sad. But we literally just treated it, watered it in, now just waiting. Look, there's a bird probably trying to get some worms and stuff on the ground. Can you see it? He's hopping around. So that's what looks kind of like snow, but it's actually just sand. We're trying to level out the ground so that it doesn't cut so deep into some of the areas. You can see where we took a chunk off of some of the grounds that are a little bit uneven. All right, you guys, I think that is it for my garden tour. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you for your patience. I was trying to get through it as quickly as possible, and then hopefully when I can come back, I'll do another tour in June. And I think by then all of the coneflowers are going to push out, so that'll be really pretty. But there is never the perfect time to do a video. I've come to realize that, because everything blooms at its own time. The coneflowers may come and the roses are completely dead. The roses may be in bloom and nothing else is in bloom, or the angel trumpet will be in bloom and nothing else is in bloom. Everything has its own timing and purpose. So just do video, and if nothing else, it's for yourself. I realize that the videos for me to see. I mean, just looking at the garden just from January until now, it was a dead garden. Everything was a stick, brown, and you can see just giving it 4 months and everything is looking luscious and beautiful. And I can't wait to see it grow. This is its, I want to say, I think 3rd year in the ground. But I don't really count the 1st year because everything was so new. Most of the flowers that I have is not mature, that's planted in the ground. They're either from cuttings or from rootings. So they need at least 1 year just to even get themselves established before they push out. So this is technically their 2nd year in the ground. Well, 3rd year in the ground, but 2nd year to where they actually are fully mature enough, like these guys, to really look the way they look and be in pristine. I'm so looking forward to showing you the angel trumpet. I have the pink variety and the yellow variety, and I just got some new cuttings for a double angel trumpet that I'm rooting right now, and I cannot wait to show you those ones as well. The purple variety that I had, the double flower purple one, has completely died. There is no salvaging it, and I have not been able to find another one to replace it. But I'm hoping maybe this year I can find one and we can replace it. All right, and that will end and conclude the video. Thank you so much for watching, you guys, and I will see you in the next video. Goodbye, everyone. Hey guys, so the one plant that I forgot is the Vermillionaire Kufia. This is what the Vermillionaire looks like. It is pushing new growth now. It was literally on the tip of my tongue and I could not remember what the name of it is. But this is the beautiful tubular orange shaped flower that the hummingbirds love. And this is the only one that came back from last year. The other ones died. I don't know if it's root rot, the ground and the moisture that we have. I know a lot of perennials suffer from just retaining too much moisture. The Vermillionaire is generally considered an annual, but if I mulch around it enough, it will actually survive and push new growth from the root. So you can see this one is, and I'm going to have to do a video on propagating more because I love it and the hummingbirds love it, and I want to keep the hummingbirds around. So we're definitely going to have to take some more cuttings and do that. But can I just say, wow on the butterfly bush. This is Miss Molly. She is now probably 6 feet tall. She's so pretty. And I need to put her somewhere else. Right now she's in the front border. It's kind of in the way. But I need to put her in her spot so she can do her thing. Which she's really pretty. And look at these. Her panicles are like 8 inches tall. And usually those are the first panicles that come out. All the other ones, when they come out, are not as big. You can see she sends side shoots here. And those will be the second sets of bloom. And then I deadhead and then I get more blooms. But it's never as big and amazing as the first sets of bloom. You can see. It's so pretty. And then I regret to not show you the good side of the Miranda Lambert. This is her second flush of flower, but look at this side. This is her better side where she has clusters of blooms. Aren't they pretty? Generally, the Miranda Lambert is not a floribunda where she has multiple flowers on one stem. She's usually just a one stem kind of girl, like this one. See how there's only one flower on the stem, and then you prune it back, and then she might send up new shoots that will give you some more flower. But there's on rare instances where she will have more than 1 or 2, and this one looks like she has a cluster right there. The Cathedral Bell is known to be more cluster, more floribunda type. You can see here, one stem had like 8 flower buds on it, and you can see even this one here. I've deadheaded a lot of them, and there's still some more flowers, so she's pretty amazing. But the hybrid tea is usually just one flower straight from the stem, and then the flora bundles are the ones that actually has multiple flowers. Like a Julia Child is more of a flora bundle. See how she has more flowers just on one stem? Like here's this one, and then she's got like 4 other buds that are ready to burst. So, okay, that's it. I'm just adding this little clip because I finally remember the name of the Vermilion Nair. Thank you so much for watching. Okay.